Dash is great because the LCD is comprehensive, but it's easy to see.
I think it's just the whole package. The fact that you've got an adjustable windscreen for comfort.
It's an incredible engine. I mean, it's spot on, and you could just cruise around in just about any gear, and it pulls every which way.
It's fun to ride. It's very balanced. The brakes are fantastic. It's a great bike.
I really enjoyed riding this bike over the last 2 days. It's got everything the touring enthusiast with a sporting edge would want in a motorcycle.
We are in beautiful Santa Rosa, California for the press launch of the Concours 14 2008 model. We have 33 journalists coming through over the next week and a half, really from all over the world. The US, we're hosting groups from Japan, Canada, and Australia as well. And they're riding altogether about 450, 460 miles on the Concours across a 2-day period, all over to the coast, up into the mountains, through the woods. So it should be a good time for everybody.
The Concours 14 took about 3 years to develop, but generated some high-tech items.
Lot of new technology items. For example, BBT, key pass system, tetra-lever shaft drive, tire pressure sensor, electrically adjustable windscreen, and so on. So we have a lot of tests every day during the few years.
We know you want more detail, so here's Kawasaki's Russ Brennan.
Let's start up here at the front of the motorcycle. Braking system, 4-piston caliper braking system, radial mount brakes, wave rotors just like on our sport bikes, mated to a radial mount reservoir system here. So very good braking system, and actually this model, as you'll notice, is actually equipped with our optional ABS system. Another great feature, especially for the touring rider here, is this new stepless electronically adjustable windshield. So a rider can go ahead and adjust this windshield at different levels for their riding comfort. A higher position to direct more of the wind up and over the rider, a little lower position for more sporty riding applications, or to get more wind on the rider's torso area. But we have a great new system on the Concours 14, and what we call it is our key pass system. What it does is each one of these bikes has a transponder or a key fob that a rider can use. This key fob is exclusive to each motorcycle. So what this allows a rider to do is to keep this in his or her jacket, can take this with them. Once the fob is out of range, which is about 5¼ feet from the center of the motorcycle, the key here cannot be turned or removed, so that key can stay with the motorcycle at all times. Rider gets within 5¼ feet, again, they're able to turn the key by pushing down from the off position into on to start the motorcycle, or all the way to the FSS position, allows them to remove the key. And now this key, in addition to starting the motorcycle, allows the operator to open the fuel tank for refueling, allows them to open and remove the saddlebags as well. All new bodywork for the Concours 14 for more of that sport touring application. And they have these louvers on the side here that can be removed for riding in colder weather conditions and allow some of the engine heat to be directly transferred onto the rider. All new saddle for this bike, very comfortable, and actually 2 different densities of foam, one for the passenger and one for the operator itself. Gone ahead and incorporated a shaft drive into the Concours 14. You know, obviously a couple advantages to a shaft drive system is you don't need to adjust it, don't need to lubricate the chain, etc. But again, with the shaft drive system, one of the drawbacks has always been either the jacking up that you get or the squatting under acceleration. In order to eliminate that, rather than just add a standard shaft drive system, what we've done at Kawasaki is incorporate what we call a tetra-lever design. And that's what you'll see, these mounting points here, and a little bit different looking shaft drive system. What basically that allows us to do is keep the drive here as well as the drive coming out of the motor on the same plane. So that eliminates that squatting feeling and gives you the feeling of a chain drive system, but with all the advantages of the shaft drive system. So that's going to be a key feature for a lot of our sport touring riders out there.
Well, now that you have all the details, let's find out what the journalists on hand had to say about the new Concours 14.
I put about 400 miles on the bike, 220 yesterday, probably a little bit less today. The bike is very comfortable. I'm a little tired for reasons that are unrelated to riding the motorcycle, but it's a very comfortable bike. For the category, it's very, very fast and very sporty, but it didn't sacrifice any comfort. I found the bike as comfortable as any sport tourer in the class, despite its performance emphasis.
I've got a classic Concours, I'll call it that. I've got over 100,000 miles on that bike, and I love it. I've ridden it all over the place. And the truth was, in the last decade, I was a little disappointed. Competition came and went past Kawasaki. When the ZX14 came out, I said, this is going to be a good thing. I knew that they would do the right deal, and with one fell swoop, they are back in the ball game.
It's very surprising that a bike that has so much utility to it in terms of creature comforts and adjustable windscreen and a lot of little interesting gizmos and electronics to it can work so competently as well on the back roads.
It's extremely smooth. The power is linear, but it's abundant, basically from the word go all the way to the top. But you can ride it like a sport bike, rev it very high all the way near red line. Handling for a heavy bike, it's pretty darn quick, I guess, quick steering in the really tight stuff, more than what I expected. It's still a little bit of work because it's a big bike, but it handles quickly. And I guess the other thing that impressed me the most was the new shaft drive system. I think they call it the Tetra. It reminded me of a chain drive system. I would say right now it's probably, in my opinion, the best shaft drive on the market.
Well, the motor, of course, having experience with the ZX14 that this bike was based off of course, I know it's an impressive power plant under there anyway, but since it's been reworked for the touring applications, it's a lot more realistic as far as power, what the touring rider can use, passing, acceleration, everything. Even the brakes are fantastic. There's not a whole lot of weak points about this bike.
Well, there's a couple things that really stick out to me. Number one, I think the seat is perhaps the most comfortable stock seat I've ever ridden on. It's really comfortable, and then it's a dual density, so the front seat is a little firmer than the back seat. And today, going down 101, I plopped my butt in the back seat just to check it out, and it was soft and very comfortable. So it's a nice, very comfortable seat. I would never change it if I bought this bike. And the other thing I like is the transmission and engine just seem to work very, very well. Most touring bikes, most bikes in general, when you put it in gear, you always have this loud clunk. And doesn't make it, sometimes even as you go through the gears, but this thing is silent no matter what gear you're in. So that was pretty refreshing. And then typical of Kawasaki, they let the good times roll because this thing flat rolls. And you can putt along just all day at 3, 4, and 5 grand, and you think, wow, this thing is really fast. But you don't have a clue how fast it is until you get the RPMs up. And Mike, it's like every man for himself, because it's the ship is leaving the dock.
Yeah, there is one major weakness about this bike, and that's the fact that there's not one in my garage yet. So that's about it.